Hey, how's it going? John from Branson Cerakote here. Gonna do a video today that's been requested several times, and I've never had the time to get it done. But I've got a little bit of time here at the end of the day before I call it quits to go ahead and knock it out. I've had a lot of questions about coating scopes. So what I'm gonna do is show you the prep or how to, prepare them for coating. Everything after that is pretty much basically like what you would do anything else other than you want to bake them at 150 for 2 hours with the H series. The only scope I have here in the shop is one that we picked up at a gun show for, I think, 10 bucks. It's a factory refurb Burris scope. And I don't want to coat it because it sits on a gun that we use for display. So it's already what I need. And if I did it for a video, then I'd have to strip it all back down and redo it again. So I'll just go through the prep. And then, like I said, everything after that's pretty much exactly the way you would do anything else H series wise. You can also, it's absolutely not a big deal to use C series. The only reason why I try to use H when I can is that the number of colors for C series is pretty small. So it really limits you on what you can do as far as patterns and things. But it's not a big deal. The only stipulation we put on scopes in our shop, scopes, electronics, anything, flashlights, anything that go through the process is we'll guarantee the process if the customer guarantees the item. So if they've got some off-brand flashlight or laser or scope that we've never heard of, I can't say that that will do fine in the oven. However, 150 degrees is really not that hot. I've always figured that manufacturers build more than that much of a tolerance into scopes just because of, sitting in the trunks of cars and things like that. They're going to get pretty close to that heat, or if you're in the Middle East and it's sitting in a case, something like that. So I always felt like the manufacturer built in a little bit of a margin for error. What fails on a scope when you put it into the oven are the O-rings that are on the inside that keep the gas in there. So if that does for some reason fail during the process, what'll happen is it'll fog up on the inside and it's basically useless at that point. But I've never had that happen. I have heard of it happening with like some cheap Walmart scopes or things like that, or the Chinese ones you get off of eBay. But all the ones that I've ever done have turned out fine. And like I said, that's just 150 for 2 hours after you get it all prepped. So we'll move over to the bench. I'll set the tripod up to where we can record what I'm doing on the bench, and we'll go from there. Okay, so generally what I'll do, normally I would have taken it out of this mount, obviously, and you would have just the scope. But what I'll normally do is get some thin cardboard, and I'll set it on here, take a pin, and just kind of get an idea of what you need as far as both sides of the scope. And then just cut the little circles out. And what we're going to do with this cardboard is basically cover the lens on each end and then take some high heat tape and just basically mask over the whole thing. What the cardboard does is it allows you to sandblast in that area without having to worry about damaging the actual glass. So sort of like what we do with the tumblers. You just find an area around the edge where it's going to be pretty uniform, and then just fold the tape over. The tape is going to be just to hold the cardboard in place. You can also use excess or extra little scraps of the Avery Dennison vinyl that you use for stenciling, and do the same thing. And that is pretty much it. You just want to basically cover these optics so that you don't end up sandblasting those. There's nothing in particular you need to do with the knobs. Just leave them on and sand them like you normally would. The only thing you need to keep in mind is you're going to sand this at 45 psi, not 60 or 90 like you do with some of the other things. And all you want to do is just scuff the surface. Put it in the oven, bake it, pull it out, let it cool completely, and then peel all the tape and everything else off. If you peel the tape and things off as soon as this comes out of the oven, you'll end up with, a lot of times you'll end up with residue left on the actual optics. So the other end's a little more recessed, and you want to just push that cardboard down in there. A lot of times these end up with a flip-up cover on them, so even if you've got just a little tiny area of black there, it's not a big deal. The covers are going to kind of cover those up. So that's pretty much it. As always, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, and share. Check us out at Branson Cerakote for all your stencil needs. And if you have any questions at all about what I've done, or anything I missed that you wanted to know, just leave me a comment or hit me up with an email at applicator@bransonscerakote.com. Thanks a lot and have a great day.